writing's hot and harsh, my notebook fills itself. The words come thick with sweat, but it feels like someone else is writing all of this. Someone I just can't believe. When I mop my brow, set my pen back down. Still me, still me.
Hi, Genderqueer Chat. It's Nicole here, and this week's topic was submitted by Matt, and it is about educating others about gender non-binary identities. And the first question posed by Matt was, what steps do you take to educate others about genderqueer issues and identities? Well, personally, what I've been doing is to come out to everyone that I come in contact with on a regular basis with a lot of confidence and a lot of pride in who I am and an excitement about my gender identity. I've found that when I'm just upfront from the beginning and I'm confident in who I am, people react a lot better than if I don't say anything for a long time. It doesn't, because they form opinions. People form opinions about you rather quickly, especially if you're just acquaintances. So I try to just go ahead and come out to everyone so that they can put an idea in their mind from the beginning about how I feel about gender, and they can get used to that idea as opposed to forming an idea beforehand that may be false. Another thing that happens whenever I am educating others about what genderqueer means and what trans issues are and identities, I try to be really patient with people and answer any questions to the best of my abilities that they have, because normally there will be some questions about that, because many people, at least where I'm from, haven't heard of different gender identities. Trans, usually yes, but genderqueer, no. Usually people don't have any kind of reference for that for the most part. And then also, I guess another step I take to educate others would be Genderqueer Chat. Trying to give support to people that have similar feelings about gender. The second part of Matt's question was, does part of sharing your own genderqueer identity and experience with others extend to broader discussions about genderqueer issues and visibility? I definitely have to say yes to this, for sure. A lot of the time, the biggest or the most frequently asked question that I have that kind of deviates off from genderqueer experience is a lot of the time I have to differentiate between sexual orientation and gender identity. I don't know if that's, well, obviously that's the binary working against me in my discussions. But I try to be patient, because everybody has their own pace that they are going to be given information. That's no one's fault if they haven't heard of things that I have. So I want to help people understand these issues and be sensitive to these issues because they affect a lot of people. So usually I get asked, okay, so genderqueer, so what does that mean? Who do you sleep with, or who do you form relationships with? And I explain this, that, it's not the same topic. Usually I'll go into my own sexual orientation and how that's a lot different than my gender identity. And I don't usually have a clear answer on sexual orientation. So that's another whole thing that people are like, oh, you don't just know, but some things aren't simple. Some people, it comes very naturally, and other people have to kind of go on a journey, and I think that's what I'm about. It's just always being open to opportunities and different life experiences and never getting stuck in one mindset. So I usually tend to ask if they're not understanding very well what I'm saying. I usually bring up trans and ask if they know anyone trans, especially with, Chaz Bono and the news and media and everything. Most people have heard, the trans, especially the younger people and the younger generation. So I kind of say, well, it's it's similar in some ways, and it's kind of under the same general umbrella, but I don't identify completely with that word. But I try to bring in some type of something they can grasp onto, that they know what that is, because it's hard. It's abstract to people who haven't thought of gender in a binary way, or in any way that's on a scale, So, let's see. I actually had a little story about educating a really good friend of mine. We've been friends for probably about 5 months. We've hung out a lot, almost every day. And so we've had lots of discussions about this. She identifies as a straight, cisgendered female, but she's definitely not a binary thinker. She's definitely very open and all of that. So as I've been explaining gender queer things, she just is so psyched about it. She thinks it's the coolest thing. She tells her friends about it in turn. About her genderqueer friend, and how, we really click, and because I have a lot of qualities she likes from either side of the gender binary, and she just gets it, she just really gets it, and I really appreciate that. And the reason I bring that up is because it's so cool that, because I was, educating her and reaching out to her in that way and trying to help her to understand these issues, she in turn educated others. So it's really rewarding to see that. And I love that about education and being able to share information. And then the last part of the question is, what resources have you come across in your area or online that endeavor to educate or bring genderqueer, non-binary identities to the public eye? Discuss their effectiveness. Of course, I generally do go to genderqueer chat for people that are not getting it, or people who are interested in, who maybe are, differently gendered themselves. I usually go to genderqueer chat because it's a good place to start. A lot of people relate to this channel, but some people have a hard time thinking in sort of academic terms, I guess. So sometimes genderqueer chat isn't the best for them. But for people who love education and love to kind of hear discussions, is kind of what this is, then genderqueer chat works well to sort of give different perspectives of being genderqueer. Kind of interesting to see that it's not just one way. For the people that maybe genderqueer chat isn't the best solution, I usually refer them to a documentary, which I've talked about in the past, called Gender Rebel. And I've never met one person, no matter how cerebral or not cerebral they are, that it hasn't really changed their view, even myself, on the binary. It's just such a great tool. The characters are relatable. It's all different types of trans experiences and genderqueer experiences. It's incredible. So I use that a lot because, people are willing to sit and watch a 45-minute documentary that's interesting. So it's a really good tool. I also use personal experiences of myself and other genderqueer people, online resources and vlogs from others. I refer people a lot to YouTube channels of people that I respect and like a lot that are trans or genderqueer. And as far as the readers go, for the readers, I sometimes go with Kate Bornstein, but as far as a typical just first finding out about gender identity, Kate Bornstein is a little complex for just thinking about gender, because she deals a lot with complex queer theory, and I love that stuff, but someone who is just finding out about gender, it might be a little bit too heavy for them. But people that are already aware of it, I definitely would go with Kate Bornstein on queer theory. It's amazing. But this week has been so crazy for me. If I seemed rushed, it's because I am. I've got a concert and a performance, solo performance this week at school, and it's starting to be close to finals, so it's just been crazy. So I apologize if I've rushed, but I'll see you guys next week, and I hope that everything's going well for you. All right, have a good one.